This video is for my Systems and Control students and anyone else who might be interested. I want to show you some switches that we've got at school. Then you can make an informed decision about which one's best for you. So I'll just run through these. Incidentally, we've got a lot of these and I favour these. These are quite flexible. I'll come back to these in more detail later. So this is what we call a rocker switch. It just rocks from side to side. It's got an obvious on-off there. And it is double pole single throw. So let me just draw that for you. So these two connections might be these two, or it could be those two as well. And you can see, hopefully, it looks a little bit like a single pole single throw switch, but there's two of them, so it's double pole single throw. In other words, you can only throw it into one on position or it can be off. So this is double pole single throw. It can be used in a variety of ways. I've literally got hundreds of them. I favour you using these. I'll come back to them. This is a push to make switch. It's either in its off state at the moment, you push it and then it goes on. It's okay. It's got these spring-loaded side bits, so it can be pushed into a panel, preferably like a thin plastic panel. If the material gets thick, like in MDF, it tends not to stick in very well. It's an option. Of course, we don't have any square drills, so what are you going to do? Maybe laser cut a hole? That would be an option. This is another push to make switch. It's round, so it's very easy to fit. Also, actually, the other advantage is that this one fits from the inside of the case out, so you could get the whole thing wired up internally and then just fit this switch last, even though it's already soldered on. Going back to this one, of course, this one, because of the way that it's got this bezel thing here, it's got to be installed from outside the case, but of course the wiring is going inside, so you have to do all the wiring inside your case, stick the wiring out through the case, solder it up and push it back in. It becomes a little bit inconvenient. That it might be alright, it depends how confident you are at soldering. This is a toggle switch like that. It's a single pole double throw switch, so it's got the one common connection there, and then it can go to that position or it can go to that position. So that's single pole double throw. Just so you can see these the schematic drawings for all of these. This is a push to make switch, so that would be shown like that. You can probably hear the clock chiming in the background. Right, so that's a push to make, which would be exactly the same as this. We do also have push to break versions. You're not likely to need one of those in your Systems and Control project, but we do have some if you want. Slide switch. It's got three positions that it locks into. So it's got the two extremes and then it's got that middle position as well. When I've checked this, and if you've got a switch and you're not sure what it is, easy way to do it, get a multimeter, put it onto continuity. Continuity just means if you touch the two things together, it's generally on most multimeters it's going to beep. So that's in the middle position. That's hopefully obviously on. Middle position. The other extreme is not on. There, okay. Let's just, for completeness, check across there, nothing there. So the only time we have a connection is when we use the one middle and then one of the ends. So if I slide the switch to that end, then that's on, like that. Okay, all of that's duplicated on the other side. These are entirely independent, so there's nothing connected from this side to this side. It can be a useful switch. A little bit more difficult to draw this because it's got the off position as well. But let's think about, say, one side of the switch just to start off with. So it can have, if you slide it one way, it could go to there. If you slide it the middle way, it goes to the off position. And you could also slide it to that way. And that's going to be mechanically linked to the other side. And then that can go to that position, or it can go to the off the middle position, or it can go to that position as well. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So these middle ones are these, and then these two extremes are this or this, and it's duplicated on the other side as well. It might be useful to you. This switch most often is installed on the inside of the case, with the screws on the screw heads on the outside of the case. Obviously, if you're going to use this, you're going to have to solder on. You're going to have to solder onto this one as well. Definitely have to solder onto that, and that one. In fact, you can make out that this one is actually an old switch. I got lots of them at home. And then this, you could solder onto it. I wouldn't advise soldering though, because it's got a plastic body. These terminals are really quite beefy. They will take a lot of heat before they get hot enough for soldering. By that point you've probably melted much of the plastic, so there's a better way than that. I'm going to pause the video here, and then I will try to continue by splicing another video onto the end of this.